I've started rehearsing the Voidoids after I left the Heartbreakers. I started rehearsing the Voidoids um, in June or July, and um, I signed my contract with Sire in January, 6 months later. Um, Television, I know, were negotiating for a long time. They got offers that they turned down. Tom was just like difficult. Um, uh, I mean, they probably could have signed a year before they did. Patty signed in 1975, a year after she started playing. The Ramones in '76, a year and a half after they started playing, and everybody else in '77. It didn't seem like it seemed like it all happened really quickly. I mean, when we started off, we were all, everybody thought we were uh, all too primitive and uh, aggressive um, and eccentric and obscure, but everybody got signed. You know, and for me, this was um, from when I first picked up a bass. Usually, people are playing in bands for 6 or 8 years before they get signed. From for me, I'd only been playing in bands at all for 2 years before I was signed. So it seemed really quick to me. No, I felt like the songs that I'd written the longest time before, which I guess the longest time before would have been something like 3 years, um, were the bands that were the songs that came out the best because they'd had the most time to evolve, and I knew better how to direct the band and playing them. Um, the problem was more that always half the material that I had something to do with I didn't want to use because I'd co-written with other band members in the bands I had left. So I needed to. I mean, we wrote 2/3 of that album um, in the 6 months before it was recorded, and that to me has led to some weaknesses. It wasn't the songs that had been around like Up Comes the Spurs and Blank Generation. They actually were way better in the Voidoids versions than they had been the uh, in the versions played by the bands that might have played them um, earlier on when before I formed the Voidoids. But then there were a number of songs that hadn't really had a chance to evolve, and but yeah. So no, I didn't feel like any song suffered from having had a history. It was only improved.